Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Week 11's Thursday live eviction episode of Big Brother 27. Last time on Big Brother, Vince's HOH came to an end when Morgan and Ashley stabbed Keanu's voodoo doll and booted him from the game. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist to catch up on my recaps. If you like the content, consider liking, subscribing, and using my link to try Paramount Plus for free. But let's dive into it, starting with our Thursday night tradition.
What's Julie wearing?
Ooh la la.
Exquisite.
Julie's wearing a sexy black alligator skin cocktail dress and black heels. Julie is feeling herself tonight. The only thing this outfit's missing is a whip. She left Les handcuffed to the bed, like Gerald's game for this filming. They bring out Keanu for an exit interview, for which he's, in my opinion, a bit underdressed to speak with dominatrix Julie. No harness. He says his game was sabotaged, and again admits Rachel was right, and that he mistrusted Vince time and time again, calling that his biggest downfall. In goodbye messages, everyone's explaining their game to Keanu, trying to earn his jury vote, besides Ava, who just says YOLO. To hear me talk more about Keanu, check out my Wednesday video and my player rankings later. Back to the game, Ava, Ashley, and Morgan are competing in the final 4 HOH comp, where the show has Ashley reheating Mackenzie's nachos in this outfit. With Nutty Professor Vince hosting, in rounds, they'll roll the dice to get the right symbols facing up in their home space. The first player to 3 points wins HOH. Morgan tells us it's by her own design that she's facing the 2 weakest competitors, and that Keanu left. Keanu would have won this, by the way. Morgan gobbles this competition, but Ava's strategy is, as usual, to shout YOLO. Morgan gets 3 points before anyone else even gets 1, and wins this HOH, making it to final 3. Ava shrugs it off. Her body language is saying YOLO. Morgan proudly tells Vince that she's now won her safety for 6 rounds in a row, and Vince is starting to sweat Morgan as a threat to beat him in the end. Vince tells Ava he has doubts about Morgan keeping him safe. When Ava runs this back to Ashley, Ava says she has no sympathy for Vince, and Ava starts her campaign on Vince, telling him that Morgan will take Ashley to final 2, and Vince tells Ava he could also turn on Morgan and take Ava to the final 2. In her nominations, Morgan puts up Ava and Ashley, surprising no one, and complimenting both on their social games. The judges are already cheersing to their final 3, but Ashley's still plotting in her mind against both Vince and Morgan. Moving on to the veto comp, where the mastermind is trying to get real cute sitting on that couch. Players need to rearrange photos to match the corresponding day the event occurred, but it's also kind of a slide puzzle. The first player to get it right wins the veto. They get started, and of course, Morgan is running her game board like the Navy, and she handily wins her 5th veto of the season. Morgan's excited to have saved herself and Vince with this veto win, but Ava's nervous that Vinny the Lip has her life in the game in his hands. Morgan and Vince celebrate with a big hug-a-rooney. Ashley opens Ava's drink that the show reveals has been sitting on her dresser for 50 days and has turned to mold. It spills all over Ashley's shirt. I would light that shirt on fire. In bed, Vince jokes to Morgan that he'd be running the game if she wasn't there, which hurts Morgan's feelings and continues to offend her, saying that Lauren's just as good as Morgan. So now Morgan is having some doubts about Vince. Ashley gets to work on Morgan, telling Morgan that Vince or Morgan winning final HOH would cut the other if they're smart, and take Ashley, who they can easily beat. Morgan's very receptive. It's a pretty logical argument, and Morgan tells us she's at least considering cutting Vince. At night, Vince asks Morgan if she wants him out. She hesitates to answer, reminding him of his comment about Lauren that upset her, which takes us to present day. A live veto meeting. Morgan decides not to use her veto, keeping Vince safe and making him the sole vote to evict. Morgan got the memo and is dressed for the same party that Julie's going to. We get speeches. Ava calls her boyfriend her Italian sausage. She turns to Vince and says the only thing she can ask him to do is not contact her after this show. Ashley is much nicer and diplomatic, telling Vince to do what's best, and showers Ava with praise. Vince casts his vote to evict, unsurprisingly sending Ava packing. I was expecting Ava to go out in flames, but she just says peace out, brothers and sisters. In her interview, the audience is eating her up. Julie shows a clip of a house meeting Ava held before the show tonight, in which she exposes Vince, saying Vince has been telling her that he's keeping her, and tells Morgan that Vince has been telling Ava he'll cut Morgan at final 3, which could cause some trouble in the game. Ava's sunflower is wilting. I think there's a Beauty and the Beast Rose type curse happening with this hat. Ava gives nothing in this interview. She's barely saying anything, but her personality in this interview is one we've never seen on the feeds or in the diary room. She's acting like someone who just stepped out of a cryogenic sleep on a planet they've never been on. I don't know how to explain it. So we say goodbye to Ava here, who preseason I said felt like the kind of player who makes it way too far and adds nothing to the game. And for the most part, I stand by it. She joins forces with Will early on. Being saved the first week greatly helped her, and she was always someone the house overall liked. I think because she didn't really talk game, so they didn't consider her someone to target, and through her lack of game talk, she was left out of major dramas, which put her in a power position in the pre-jury, where her vote was very important. And if she did speak up about the game, she was seen as impartial, which gave her influence. In my rankings, I ranked her first after the Adrian vote, where she convinced Zach and Vince to switch their votes, and she had her HOH, where she took a huge swing, nominating Zach, Vince, and Keanu. So with those big moves, I don't feel she's that bad of a player. She's actually a smart player who knows what's going on for the most part, but she's very passive, spending most of the season laying in bed, and while she seems seems like she wants to win the money. She's not very competitive, having an it is what it is mentality about the game that didn't serve her. It became clear that her sole objective was to win America's favorite player, constantly playing up her personality in a way that was honestly exhausting and a total front. While I feel she exceeded my very low expectations, I do hope we never see her again on TV, and especially that furry hat. Sorry to the Ava stands, we can agree to disagree on this one. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Ava's eviction, and who do you hope to win the game? For me, I'm happy with Morgan or Ashley. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back later tonight with my finalist player rankings, and on Sunday to recap the finale. Until then, you know where to find me. And as Julie says, one another.